So to make a long story short, I've just been very busy, including with a class that I'm taking, because to make a longer story short, yeah, being able to do commentary and analysis, for lack of a better term, of course I aspire to be a commentator and an analyst, except aspiring / amateur is not the same as professional. And I've also been working on some other, if you will, stuff, including that life-changing update that I keep talking about. And I've had to keep it under wraps because, to make a long story short, I don't want to say anything in advance in case everything would fall through in the end. And I mean, I've also just been going through a lot too. And there was that one situation that I was talking about in terms of, something happening to a loved one, and I couldn't talk about it because I just didn't know, for lack of a better term, if it is what I think it is or if it's just sometimes things happen. And so those things have been really killing me lately. Not to mention that once I made a video about Ann Coulter, okay, getting the anti-Semitic comments and all that was one thing. Getting an anti-Semitic threat, and I assume this may have been someone who saw me on YouTube and decided to target me on another YouTube video, one that wasn't even mine. He apparently found me through the video about the kid who made the clock, and then Bill Mayer's comments on that whole situation, for lack of a better term. Apparently it found me through that video and made an anti-Semitic threat. And so, as I also said, I got some anti-Semitic comments on the video that I made, and I even had a threat from one of the guys on that video, so maybe the same guy too, the thing, because he made a very similar threat. And so I've just been dealing with all that, and believe me, I'm not just sitting here and, like I said, when I'm an aspiring commentator / analyst / who have you or what have you, I'm not just sitting there armchairing in and winging it and doing whatever and just shooting off my mouth for the sake of shooting it off. These things happen too, and it's just like suddenly you quickly become aware of the things that you were never aware of before. And there's one of those situations where, yeah, I'm one of those who I think is definitely a living example of you don't quite, for lack of a better term, you don't quite know what hits you or what it is about you until you realize that it is about you. So, for example, even in terms of, I used to read about the crypto Jews, for example, and it never occurred to me that my family are crypto Jews, despite that, for example, let's just say that, as I explained to one relative recently, a relative that I found online, I explained to him that, let's just say I have some relatives who get very pissed that I found out, and they're also in denial about some of the things that happened. And so there's that, and now I fully understand what, for lack of a better term, I fully understand what people mean when they say, oh, this person found out that he was Jewish and the family's in denial about it, or the family's pissed that he found out. And now I also understand that when people are at the end of receiving anti-Semitic threats and all that, yes, I received the anti-Semitic threats, and yes, I received other threats in the past, and I've read about the hate crimes increasing against Jews. Once it hit me in a significant way, though, especially the way that it hit me recently, it's like, okay, now I know what it's like to have to go through certain channels to report certain things, and you suddenly become one of those statistics that you never really wanted to become, but you always figured you might become anyway. Or if you wanted to become one of those statistics, and not because you necessarily wanted to become one of those statistics, but you figure, okay, I'm going to risk everything for standing up for my people. I mean, if you gotta become one of those statistics, then you become one of those statistics, and of course you don't solicit it. So if you become that statistic, what can you do? And it's like someone pointed out last night, I can't remember who said this quote, it was in the spirit of Winston Churchill, though, you have enemies, good, that means, you did something in your lifetime and whatnot. Very similar quote that this person said, that all the great people, such as Martin Luther King and Gandhi, if you really consider him a great person, and of course I'm going to get backlash for saying that Gandhi was not that great of a person, although Gandhi was an anti-Semite, so there's that. But I mean, people who are great people or who are considered great people, all of them had enemies. And so I suppose that if I'm anything at all, then I would at least hopefully be in the company of those such as Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King and just other people that one guy named within that quote. Of course, like I said, except like people like Gandhi who really weren't, for lack of a better term, as great as people like to think. And so there's that.